What's up, everybody? I'm your host H. It's my co-host E.
What up? What
and
up?
This is Unstructured, where we break down your favorite TV shows, movies, and documentaries.
That's right. Today we're going over Billions, Season 6, Episode 9, The Hindenburg. Things got bumpy, and just like the Hindenburg, Ish went down today. H, let's get unstructured.
Let's go. This episode was fire. No pun
boy.
intended. Like this is one of the best
Yes.
episode. And I'll
Yes.
say, we had our criticism for this season, right?
Yeah.
We're not having acts and the regular cast on the show at all times. We'll talk about a little more about that later.
Exactly.
But it was one of the best episodes of the show all
this
season.
season.
It was
Yeah,
not just
absolutely.
the season. I'm willing to say I will put it up there. One of my top favorite 10, maybe top 5
Okay,
episodes.
top 10
because the
maybe.
tension was real. I was watching this show like, is it really gonna happen? Is Chuck really
Yeah.
gonna lose at the end? And yeah, stuff went down, and cause he turned it around. That speech at the end, I'm excited. It was a shit
That
good
speech
episode.
at the end was captivating, and we'll talk about that. But oh my God, this is the episode that we've been waiting for.
No,
This
even
is
Mike.
it. This is the one.
Mike is sitting like, wow.
He's like,
good.
yo,
This
I
guy
might
is
be in
good.
trouble.
I might be in trouble.
Is gotten real.
Sweeney goes, you don't have to admire. Yeah, we do both here. Mike gets his due. and it's funny because this is how the episode started. This shows how different Mike Prince and Chuck are from each other. So
Absolutely.
on one hand, you have at the beginning of the episode, Chuck shows up to Mike's office to gloat unnecessarily.
Unnecessarily.
He could have literally debated
Just
all
let
of
it
that.
go.
Just
It
let
would've
it
been
go.
over, yeah.
You won. It's like, hey, Mike, you want to unlock some of those buildings? I'll pay you a little market value. Mike is,
He just
man,
wanted
I'm
to rub
rich.
it in.
I ain't got to do nothing.
Dude, billionaires are used to winning. I mean, if you had to tally up their wins, they're up there. So when you go and gloat in their face, it's not going to end very well for you. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, Mike Prince had the motivation to go ahead and do something extraordinary to Chuck, which was basically ruin him. And he ultimately did that. And the way that they just fell for everything, hook, line, and sinker, was amazing. The thing that's astonishing to me is that Chuck grew up with privilege. His dad was rich, and he grew up in these country clubs or whatever that he now hates. I don't know why. And that's ultimately what basically got a bug up his ass and forced him down the rabbit hole. And lo and behold, now he's in a corner, and his position got taken away from him. It's crazy.
He got overconfident. He was blindsided. There was a chance, like when Tarp was calling him, he could have picked up that call and he would have known that something was going down, and he decided
Exactly.
to hold the call. And all because Kate was instrumental in getting Chuck in trouble. And she didn't want to like necessarily do it. She kind of wanted to renege on it.
No,
Push,
she wanted to do it. There's no question. She didn't want it to do it. She didn't want her name on it, which was the whole thing. She didn't want her name on it because she didn't want to be seen as the apprentice that's stabbing the sensei in the back, so to speak. But she did, and it was masterful. She is no longer an apprentice. She is in her own shoes and going in her own way. This will launch her candidacy for sure because there's no one to stand in the way. Chuck is no longer an AG. Who is he now?
too quick.
Who is he now?
Hey, we've been watching this show for several years.
Yeah.
Let's not count Chuck out.
He's
Let's
not out. But
think about this.
He's
Think about this.
unchained right now. He's unchained. He's not out, but he doesn't have the power.
Chuck is someone that plans and plans and plans. Because the one thing that Chuck knew is that he had that night, they had a few hours.
Yeah.
He could have put some things in motion and in place as some kind of bomb to go off once he's out of office. And guess what? His second in command is the one that's gonna be left
I'm sure
in
that
charge.
which was key, and I'm sure that he did put something in place hours before, which won't come to fruition on the 10th episode. It'll come to fruition in season 7. That's probably
If there
where
is another
if
season.
there is one, that's probably where they're going. And also, just like we said, just like they've been alluding to, and just like they dropped a dime in this episode, Mike Prince is planning on going for the presidency because when they said, "Oh, wait until 2 years to vote him out," they were like, "Nah, in 2 years we got something else to do." You saw the look on their face. But
Yeah.
getting back to Chuck and setting things in motion, I think with him not being an attorney general, he's no longer confined by
The Office.
yeah, by the office, period. And so now he can do things a little bit more creatively, and now he has an open field to really get back at Prince. The only question is, what type of tools are at his disposal? I don't know, and we'll see. But he is a man with a lot of time on his hands.
You know, one thing with Chuck is one thing I'm gonna just say. I think we'll see the his plan for payout next episode.
Yeah.
because we don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty going forward with the show. Because I think this is kind of the final season, but we don't know if they're gonna continue forward with the TV show. But we'll see Tim comes to fruition next time. But now that show is not a public servant, he could become a lobbyist. It could be very much a pain in the butt for a lot of these people. And he has,
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some kind of flip where Chuck put things in motion that they're going to want him back in power. And everyone that went against him.
Oh,
is
he's
gonna
going to make
suffer
them pay.
from it.
He's got a vendetta. He's going to make them pay. And speaking of pain, what about Taylor? Shout out to one of our viewers that had mentioned Dollar Bill and everything. We had a conversation about that. Hey, Dollar Bill showed up again, and it wasn't pretty.
No, Dollar Bill showed up. And again, it's one of my conflicts or concerns with this show. In this last season, we have Mafi and Dollar Bill. They made like 3 or 4 appearances here, and they're very short stints. This probably was the longest one they had this season.
Yeah.
And it's
This
like,
is a big episode, guys. Don't mess it up.
and it's like it just feel the storyline feels out of place. They tend to steal the guys, and they're gonna.
That was the most authentic storyline I think that they played in this series.
But it's still like I don't think that you would see. I don't see Mike Prince or Mike Prince Capital caring so much about the 2 employees leaving to go with the other firm.
I think I think they made it in good enough cases that is the human capital and everything else, the baggage along the years that they have along with them, getting somebody up, gearing them up, and blah blah blah. I think they made a good case on that as to why they should keep them and why they should fight for them. And I think Taylor, as she said, she went to bat for a new counterpart, and now they're even. But more than being even, now they're seen as equals and partners. They formed that bond and relationship, and I think they're going to be formidable in the future. And also something else that we did say would happen is in the works, which is Taylor is going for 10 figures. She no longer wants that 150 million or whatever. She wants 10 figures so that she can really make an impact like Mike Prince pushed her to do.
Now, wouldn't it be great? And I hope this comes to fruition. This is my idea.
Yeah.
If we see Taylor had this long game plan where she ends up actually taking over High Plains Capital, creating her own firm with Mafi, with Dollar Bill, with everybody else, like in one fell swoop, makes one move, takes all the key players from Axe Capital, including Wax.
Yeah.
And they all go into their own firm, which is High Plains, right? And she ends up getting that $1 billion and toppling Mike Prince,
Yeah.
turning the tables. That would be such a great ending to the show.
I think that would be amazing. And I think that is kind of on the table. It's kind of on the table because she said that she won't be there for long in so many words, right?
No, look what she said. She told the guys, well, hey, listen, don't talk to me about illegal because you know who I learned from. You saw me learn, you saw me succeed. She is the heir apparent to Axe.
Absolutely.
She might have different tactics, but she gets dirty when she needs to get dirty.
Ruthless.
Ruthless.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
She said, do you know who I learned from? Do you think I wasn't paying attention? Test me. And nobody wanted to because they knew what was up. They knew Taylor is the real deal. Taylor is like part computer, part, I don't know, terrorist. She will make your life a living hell. Pardon me, forgive me for the phrase, but she will make your life a living hell. And she is the real deal. She does not back down. She holds grudges, and she plays to win. She's a real baller in this space, and she needs to be respected. And they did that. They crossed the line, Dollar Bill and Mafi, and they apologized and they let it alone. So it's all good. Where is Wendy in this episode?
It's weird. Like last week, we complained that we didn't see Kate. Kate should have been there, definitely there for that episode, and she was key
Should
to
have
bring
been
the
there.
Olympics. And this week we don't have the reaction or how Wendy's reacting to the loss.
I think that is critical. You have somebody who was married to this guy, and we're talking about Chuck, who dealt with him on multiple levels, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and he
And with whips,
yeah, exactly. That was part of the physical.
whips and chains.
And that was
Can't skip that.
Exactly, can't skip that. But she is able to feel his pain, and I want to see how she interprets that to judge. Like, is she still on his side because they were kind of close 2 episodes ago, or is is it on par? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's the game that you play, right?
Now, this is gonna leave us for next week. That episode. I mean, where do we go from there? Because we kind of have Mike lost, so we last episode. Chuck loses this episode. Kate's lost a few times, so technically we have Chuck 2, Kate 1. And we know that Chuck always has one last card to play. I will hope if in next week's episode is the final of the season that we see some kind of remnants of Axe. It would be great to at least get a video call from Axe towards the end of the show. I would love to see some closing some of those lines. So I think that episode is gonna move fast, furious, and I hope we keep the same energy we had in this episode. Let's double it. And let's end with a bang.
Speaking of energy, speaking of Fast and Furious, like you said, we touched on it, but I really want to dwell on it. That speech by Chuck at the end was compelling.
Amazing.
It was insane. It was great. Like, I thought that it was over for Mike. I thought that the senator was going to give in, and you know what? Now Chuck has the power and he's going after Mike.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen, despite how good of a speech Chuck gave, which was Jesus.
Paul Giamatti is amazing. So when he delivers this guy, the way the performance for this character is with him, he makes you believe it. Like I don't know if I'll be able to see him as another character when I see him in another movie, TV show.
No.
He's done very good roles before, but
Absolutely.
this particular character of Chuck Rhodes, I mean, the way he speaks, his mannerisms, the way he moves, everything about him is, I want to see more. Like, if this is the last of the show, give me a spin-off with just Chuck. I'll take it.
I dated a lawyer before, and actually a few, but that's beside this point. But what I can attest from my experiences is that his mannerisms and it's authentic. I can see that, and he really became that role, and I'm just in awe. It's a hell of a role, but let's see what's going to happen. Like you said, Fast and Furious episode 10. Not, and hopefully in no way, shape, or form do I like the Fast and Furious series. Y'all may hate me, but that's a different topic. Well, maybe we'll do a review when Fast and Furious 20 comes out, but that's a different story. But episode 10 will be Fast and Furious. There will be a lot of things that are going to happen, and I wonder if they're setting it up for season 7. You know what? Put in the comments whether you think there should be a season 7.
Let us know what you guys thought. Let us know what you guys thought of that final scene in this episode. You guys enjoyed this episode. I know we had a lot of conflict with how good the show has been, but do you guys like this episode? Was it really good? Did it hit its mark?
Yep. And like we said, episode 10 is coming. We will be here. And until that time, I'm E, this is H, and we are
On Structure.
That's right.